Rev up your engine! Today I'm going to show you how to fix a car that clunks when you start it up and also when you're taking a hard corner. Now when you get a car that clunks when you start it and then also does when you corner hard, that's often a bad motor mount, because the motor mounts keep the motor vibrations from being felt while you're driving the car. One part bolts onto the motor and the other part bolts onto the frame of the car. So it can't be all metal. If it was all metal, the sympathetic vibrations of the engine would be felt in the whole car, and you'd be shaking. The original cars are like that, they really shook. So they have metal, and then it's rubber insulation in the middle, and the rubber takes the vibration out. But as they age, the rubber can rot and crack, and then you get clunking. Now you might think clunking, who cares, doesn't mean anything, but it's clunking because the whole engine and transmission assembly is going up and down. It'll make your drive shafts ride weird. It can snap them off if it's really bad. It's a good idea to fix them. And to check which one's bad, it's a pretty simple test. Just get a jack, then put it right here on the engine transmission assembly, right here, and start jacking it up. And in this case, we're watching the front mount here. As we see, as we jack it up, it starts to separate. When we go up to the top here, this gap is starting to get bigger because the rubber's ripped and this is picking it up in the air. Now, in this case, you can see there's grease all over the place too. The power steering pump's leaking, and that's going to help ruin the motor mount. So that's going to need to be replaced eventually. The customer doesn't do that right now. They want this fixed right away. He's going to order a brand new power steering pump because they cost too much locally and the rebuilt ones are junk. So he's going to order a new one. I'm going to put it on for him. Gasoline, coolant, and especially power steering fluid, it can eat the rubber up, and then the motor mounts go bad. Now, as far as motor mounts go, these ones are pretty easy to get to because they're right on the top here. They're not hidden down in the back like some that can take hours. First, we'll move the power steering pump reservoir out of the way, which in this case is pretty easy. I just get this long extension, stick a 10mm on it, and there's two little 10mm bolts. One here. I'll use a giant extension here. Makes it easier to break them loose. There's one here. Take that off. And there's another one on the other side. Just break it loose. Spin it with your hands. Now you can see it's wiggling. And we can get this out of the way so we can get to the bolts. Then I'm going to remove this bolt, that bolt over there, and the bolt on the top. And in this case, they're all 14mm bolts, so that's pretty handy. Here comes number two to go. That's where the big extension comes in handy. Makes it easier to get them off. Now, unfortunately, I still can't pull it out because when we look at the new motor mount, there's also two giant bolts with nuts. We're gonna have to jack it up in the air and take the tire off to get to that. They used to put the nuts on the top, made it an easier job. So now we gotta take the tire off too. So off comes the tire, off it goes. Of course, per usual, there's more crap in the way, so we gotta take these bolts off and get this plastic shield off. Now we can get that out of the way. We don't take the whole thing off. All we gotta do is get enough room so we can get a socket up here. And wouldn't you know, when you look at the bottom of them here, they're real long. So you gotta have a deep socket, 14mm for those, because they're deep and you need to get it from the bottom, but it has to be deep. A shallow one wouldn't reach the whole way up. As you can see here, the extension goes way up inside, and then if you twist them, there's number one. And when you look way up inside there, you can see it's all greasy, but on that greasy bar, one's gone, and then we have to get the other. And here's the second one. Do a little wiggling. There it is. Now we can pick it up from the top. A little wiggling, and here it comes. Tight fit. As you can see, this is all broken inside. See, all the rubber's broken. Here's the new one. Notice, it's not broken. We wiggle that back in this little hole. Gravity helps then. Falls down in place. As we can see here, the mount now doesn't reach the hole because the motor came down, so we're going to jack the motor up again. We just need to jack it up a tiny bit. So as you can see now, those mounting holes fit in, and we can bolt them all on. Then put the stupid plastic shield back on. Keeps water from splashing on the fan belt, really. I put the tire back on. Then put the power steering pump reservoir back in its place. Just bolts on. 2 bolts. Hand tighten is fine here. All it is a reservoir. Well, we let down the jack slowly so we don't break anything. And now when we start it, the engine won't bump. next time your motor bumps when you start it and clunks and when you corner, suspect a broken motor mount that you can change yourself with a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of dirty hands if you're not wearing gloves. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.